Welcome to today's explainer. If you've been watching the markets recently, you've probably felt the ground shifting under your feet. We are quite literally witnessing the arrival of the mega IPO, led by companies that are pushing the absolute frontiers of technology, stuff like space exploration and artificial intelligence. We're talking about heavyweights like SpaceX, Anthropic, and OpenAI. But what does it actually mean to launch a company into the public markets at such a mind-boggling scale? Well, stick with me because we're going to break down the risks, the rewards, and the reality of this totally unprecedented era. Okay, let's dive right into this. $1 trillion. Just let that sink in for a second. That is the kind of market cap expectation being tossed around for these companies right out of the gate. Historically, building a $1 trillion company took decades of compounding public growth, but now it's basically the starting line. It completely redefines what we even think of when we hear a company is going public. So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First up, the mega IPO era. Second, we'll look at echoes of the dot-com bubble. Third, the AI growth engine. Fourth, assessing the real risks. And finally, the evolution of capital markets. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the mega IPO era, and how it's redefining what going public actually means. And this brilliantly illustrates how the sheer stakes of raising capital have fundamentally changed. We aren't talking about tiny startups going public just to raise a few $1,000,000 to build their first factory anymore. We're looking at global juggernauts that have been incubating in the private markets for years. Take 3 of today's massive players, for example. You might just group them all together as tech, right? But their fundamental business realities are vastly different. SpaceX is incredibly complex. They are completely winning the space launch race, and Starlink is a huge success. But other parts of the business are still burning through cash. Then you have the AI players. Anthropic is considered a much cleaner play because it's highly focused, and remarkably, it's already profitable. OpenAI, on the other hand, is arguably the most famous of the bunch, but has yet to make money. So profitability varies wildly across these companies, yet the sky-high expectations remain exactly the same across the board. To really anchor your sense of scale here, just think about this multiple: 95 times. Valuations floating around for SpaceX have it priced at roughly 95 times its trailing revenue. And notice, I didn't say earnings or profit there. I said revenue. When a company is priced like that, you are essentially paying for a century of flawless growth, all up front. Which brings us to Section 2, echoes of the dot-com bubble. Are we just repeating 1999 all over again? Because when you start seeing sky-high revenue multiples, it absolutely forces us to ask this critical question. Are the normal rules of finance completely suspended when it comes to these megatech companies? Like, have we entered some new paradigm, or are we just ignoring financial gravity? To answer that, we've got to look at the differences. Financial expert Stephen Rotner points out a really striking contrast here. Back in the late 90s, a reasonable IPO was around $50 million, and companies were going public with zero or de minimis revenue. Today, we are looking at $75 billion IPOs. But the key difference is, these companies aren't vaporware. They are experiencing unprecedented revenue growth driven by real, tangible AI and large language model adoption. But hey, there are definitely valid comparisons to be made, particularly regarding risk. Back in the dot-com era, companies signed massive contracts for dark fiber internet cables that were literally never actually needed or utilized. Today, skeptics point to circular B2B transactions, like a reported $1.25 billion a month contract involving Anthropic and SpaceX. Are these circular deals artificially inflating revenues, just like those unneeded dark fiber contracts of 1999? It's a massive risk that investors have to weigh carefully. Moving on to Section 3, the AI growth engine, and why this time might actually be different. Before we just write this whole thing off as a giant bubble, we absolutely have to listen to the experts. As Stephen Ratner noted, AI is a game changer unlike anything I've seen in my lifetime. This isn't just another flashy app or some slight efficiency improvement. We are talking about a foundational shift in how business is conducted and how we interact with technology. The underlying tech has true historic momentum behind it. Now, what's really interesting about this is how fundamentally different these AI models are from 90s internet hype. The providers of these large language models are just shattering revenue projections. Experts are saying the usage and adoption rate is unlike any technology item in human history. There is a real, viable business at the bottom of all this. And as we mentioned earlier, companies like Anthropic are already showing profitability. Sure, it requires an extraordinary amount of capital to build these AI models, but the market is clearly anticipating extraordinary returns. All right, Section 4. Assessing the real risks. It is time for a reality check. Because let's be real, hope is not an investment strategy. We need a reality check on the gritty, fundamental liabilities investors actually face here. Think about it. When you buy in at year zero, you weren't paying for what they make today. You are enduring years 1 through 4, which are just filled with high capital expenditures and intense uncertainty. Your investment decision is entirely based on the present value of positive cash flows that might not even happen until years 5, 6, or 7. And the further down the road those cash flows are, the harder it is to calculate the right discount rate. The math requires a whole lot of faith.
Aside from all that intense math, there is a highly human element to consider. We really need to define key man risk. This is the danger that an organization's entire success or its massive valuation is overwhelmingly tied to the brain, the decisions, and the mere presence of one single individual.
And you really can't talk about key man risk without talking about the Elon Musk factor over at SpaceX. He reportedly holds around 85% of the voting control, but it goes way beyond just voting shares. He is the CEO, the CTO, and the chairman. While SpaceX has a stellar team, including Gwynne Shotwell, the company is a unique creation of Musk's personal vision. He famously operates a high-pressure environment that does not suffer fools. As an investor, you have to separate the corporate structure from the man who's actually calling the shots. His decision-making is absolutely critical to that trillion-dollar future, which makes it an undeniable, glaring risk. So the crucial point is this, what we call the post-IPO upside dilemma. Because companies like SpaceX have stayed private for so long, a massive chunk of their exponential growth might already be in the rearview mirror. By the time everyday retail investors actually get a chance to buy in at a trillion-dollar valuation, the easy money has already been made by private venture capital. And remember, giant IPOs can be super messy. Facebook and Google both had rocky, complicated public debuts before they eventually found their footing. Let's bring it all together in Section 5, Evolution of Capital Markets, the New Normal. To even wrap our heads around how a $75 billion or $150 billion IPO is possible in the first place, you have to realize that a massive percentage of the entire stock market's value is currently concentrated in just 7 to 10 big tech and AI companies. This naturally makes people pretty nervous because we saw similar market concentration right before the 1929 crash and the dot-com burst. The world is just in love with tech right now, and an incredible amount of global capital is being funneled into a very, very small slice of the pie. But that concentration isn't the whole story. As Ratner points out, the capital markets are deeper and more robust and more fulsome than we probably ever would have imagined. The fact that these mega companies can raise tens of billions in equity without completely starving the rest of the corporate bond market proves that the global financial system has genuinely evolved. The numbers just keep getting larger over time. Let's see how this builds into a practical framework for you, the focused learner. When the next mega IPO hits the news, don't just stare blindly at the market cap. Follow these 3 steps. Step 1, look past the hype and evaluate the actual tangible adoption rate of their technology. Step 2, do the hard math on discounting those future cash flows 5 to 7 years out. And step 3, assess the human element. What are the structural and key man dependencies that could derail the whole thing? Which leaves us with the ultimate question. The market has evolved, the technology is undeniably real, but the price tags? Staggering. When the next $150 billion tech IPO drops into the market, are you going to see a bubble waiting to burst or a historic breakthrough waiting to be funded? Keep this framework in mind and you'll be ready to decide for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.